And welcome back to Hannity. So we're only 2 days away from the first Republican presidential debate, and one of the topics certain to take center stage is, of course, immigration. Now, frontrunner Donald Trump has made this a big issue and talking point on the campaign trail. Here are just some of the comments he has made since launching his presidential bid.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. I've been told by so many Hispanics, Mr. Trump, thank you, sir, thank you. You have done the right thing. I'm from a country, Hispanic. I'm from such and such a country. We don't want illegals coming in. I love Mexico, I tell everybody. And I love the Mexican people, and I've said it 100 times. Nobody ever says it, nobody ever reports it, that's a problem. I love the Mexican people. I love the spirit of the Mexican people. There is a huge problem with the illegals coming through. And in this section, it's a problem. In some sections, it's a massive problem.
But what details
and you have to you have to make the people that come in, they have to be legal. Very simple.
Now, at last night's C-SPAN Voters First Forum, which Donald Trump did not attend, some of the 2016 Republican candidates were asked about their stance on immigration. Let's take a look.
The real issue for us in this country today is what's happening all across our great land, and that is the cost that illegal immigration is having on this state. And until we get that border secure, it's not going to stop. It's like a serious wound. You want to staunch the flow, and that's not what's happening in the
I don't think this administration is serious about border security or serious about protecting working men and women. In the last 20 years, 35 million people have come into this country legally and illegally. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Obviously, the border needs to be secured. There needs to be an expanded guest worker program so people can move in and out and support their family, but do it in a legal way.
I believe there is a reasonable way to address the fact that you have 12 million people living in this country or more who are illegally here but have been here for a long time. And they will have to pass a background check. They will have to pay a fine. They will have to start paying taxes. They will have to learn English. And then in exchange for that, what they will get is a work permit.
Joining us now, #1 New York Times bestselling author, Adios America, her latest book, The Left's Plan to Turn America into the Third World Hellhole. Ann Coulter's back, and the queen of epic ambition of Hillary and the second coming of the Clinton era, nationally syndicated radio talk show host with Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. All right, this for you is become, I would almost argue, borderline your obsession. You think this is the defining issue of our time. Obviously, Donald Trump has proven it's a big issue. These candidates talked about it a lot last night. Why so important?
Well, because it decides every other issue. And listening to those candidates just now, I see why Trump is dominating the polls. We've heard this for 30 years from politicians. Americans keep telling pollsters, no, we want less immigration, no immigration, stop with the immigration, do something about illegals. And, they always talk about securing the border when they need our vote. And then Rick Perry passes in-state tuition for illegals and says you don't have a heart if you disagree. Chris Christie, the same thing. Marco Rubio runs against amnesty, and when he was running as a Tea Party candidate in Florida, gets to Washington, spends 3 years pushing amnesty. You have Jeb Bush calling it an act of love. Yeah, when they want our votes, this is the way they talk. Trump looks like he really means it, and he'd actually do something about it. Yeah. But the Republican Party they act like Dave Bratt never happened. He didn't take out Eric Cantor. We're just going to keep ignoring. I mean, this is a big theme of my book, that you have all of the elites aligned against the American people on immigration. You have the Democratic Party want the votes. The Republicans, as Trump,
they want cheap labor,
is wisely pointing out, these Republicans are all beholden to the campaign donors.
Yeah. All right, let me go to Hugh. You know what? Ann's right. They do promise 700 miles of fence. I think they built 30 miles by the time all was said and done. They make that promise even in the last election. We were told they'd stop executive amnesty. They don't do it, Hugh. Why? Why do they say they'll do it and they never get it done?
They are afraid of building the fence. And that's where I think Donald Trump actually scored, is when he talked about the wall, the fence. And I think this is where I agree with Ann. I'm a big regularization person. Let the people who are here stay. But I want to build a fence on the southern border that's at least half of the 2,000 miles long. And I believe Krautheimer has said often on this program, on yours and others on Fox News, that 90% of America agree on 90% of the solution, and part of that solution is a big, long, strong, high, double-sided fence. And when Donald Trump started talking about a wall, that's when people started to listen to to him. I think the other Republicans, whether they're on the far edge of that stage or in the middle of it, ought to bring that up and commit to actually building a fence.
So let me go to Ann, because you see Donald Trump, 26 in one poll, 26% in another poll, 21 in another poll, 24 in another poll. These are big numbers when you have 17 candidates in a race. So my question to you is, Republicans promised they'd repeal Obamacare, but they won't use the power of the purse, their constitutional authority. They said they'd stop executive amnesty. They ended up funding it.
Right.
Donald Trump said today he would shut down the government over Planned Parenthood the same day Mitch McConnell said, I'll never shut down the government.
Right. No,
so
I know.
You got this schism.
I mean, it's all these questions to Donald Trump about whether he's going to run as a third-party candidate. It's getting to the point that I think the people would like the Republican Party to become the third party.
Revitalized second party.
They are lying to us. What they care about are their donors, the Chamber of Commerce, Wall Street, this globalism, and just treason to the American people. It isn't just a fence. Americans want less immigration, and the politicians won't give it to us. This is why Trump is crushing in the polls, and I just hope, I mean, what I guess from experience we're all worried about is, please don't back away from it, Donald Trump.
I don't think he's
crushing because of immigration.
I don't think that's in it. All right, but Hugh, you've been a little bit more critical of Donald Trump. Ann Coulter's saying this is the spine that Republicans need. Voters are clearly saying it as well. You cannot ignore poll after poll with those kind of numbers.
No, I had Donald on yesterday for half an hour. He's a terrific interview, as you know. And everyone in both debates, both the first and the second, will be talking about Donald. In fact, I'm wearing my Miami Redhawks tie for the first forum, which Bill Hemmer is running on Thursday night, just to remember that there's a forum before the forum. They'll all be talking about Donald Trump and his clarity. So I like what he has to say. I did not like the McCain comments. I thought that I talked to him about it yesterday. But what he's done is provide clarity and unambiguity. But I got to say, Ann, I just disagree with you on this. The Republican Party is not in trouble. They don't need a third party. We just need clarity and long attention to what people are actually saying, not the sound bites framed by the Democrats. And so I don't think we want to go overboard. Most of the Republicans agree on most of the stuff, including the Iran deal's got to be rejected.
I think it's silly to even ask Trump about running third party, since he's dominating all the polls. Every poll that keeps coming out, he's on top. Why is he on top? Because of the immigration issue. I was just pointing out that is why. And if the Republicans, I mean, there will be, whether it's Trump or somebody else, the Republican Party is going to go the way of the Whigs if they keep refusing to listen to their voters. They don't need Chamber of Commerce money. They need votes.
I got to say something about that. Every conservative I know is fed up with Washington Republicans. They're happier with the governors. They feel they have been more principled. Some of them.
They are not fed up with Tom Cotton. They are not fed up with Joni Ernst.
No, but they're
not
fed up with the leadership. They're fed up with the fact that they didn't repeal or replace Obamacare. They're fed up that they funded executive amnesty. I'm fed up.
I do believe that when we come in November, at the end of September, if Planned Parenthood is not defunded and they don't shut the government down, there will be a revolt, because those videos, I heard you talking about them on your show earlier today, Sean. Those videos are a defining moment in American history.
All right,
and the Republicans have to stand up and say
they could have tied it to the.
I don't think. I mean, immigration is the new abortion issue. Look, every Republican is anti-abortion. Every Republican is against Planned Parenthood now. When they all pretend they're Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan came along, half of the Republican Party was pro-abortion, was anti-gun, was pro-ERA. It was Reagan who stepped away from the pack, and that is what Trump and to some extent Romney also did on immigration. That's the litmus test. All Republicans are good on abortion.
I got to let you both go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Hugh. Coming up next tonight on this busy news night on Hannity.
He's a progressive?
He's a progressive.
Jeb Bush.
Yes.
Why is he so progressive?
I think he's progressive because he has so many, he's at the border, the immigration.
An explosive Frank Luntz focus group. He will reveal what New Hampshire voters think of the Republican presidential field. Later, another disturbing undercover Planned Parenthood video has now been released. You're not going to believe what they caught this time. They're talking about literally full babies intact. Is that infanticide? We'll talk to the person responsible for those videos straight ahead.